What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another video. So today I have to share something that came in the mail, and I was incredibly excited to pick this up. Um, I'll just go ahead and show it to you. On Amazon, I ordered the Xenoblade Chronicles soundtrack. So it just came today. I ordered it a couple days ago, and it was really kind of fitting because I just finished Xenoblade Chronicles on my 3DS last night, very late, and so I was very excited that it came in the mail today, so I could sort of just celebrate, I guess, for completing one of the longest games that I've ever played in my entire life. And not only that, but it's a very very fantastic game, and I was incredibly excited to finish it, to finally see the story come to an end. It was a fantastic journey, and I loved every minute of it. Maybe not every minute of it. Some parts were a little frustrating for me, but I just had to, go back and get stronger and grind and all that good stuff. Do some side quests and things like that. But overall, Xenoblade Chronicles is easily one of my favorite games, I'd say, ever. Just for the story alone, for the environments, for the characters, just everything like that. So this is a great thing to have, and I'm extremely excited to have it. So I'll just sort of talk about my experience with the game, and just sort of show you guys the soundtrack. I have not listened to this yet. It literally just came in the mail, and I just opened it, and I was in the process of importing it to my computer because I still have CDs. But anyway, so you can see on the front here, Xenoblade original soundtrack with Mechanis in the background and the Monado in the foreground, with, I think, some Mechanis or Mechon armor. And on the back is the the track list. So you will notice that it's all in Japanese, which kind of sucks because I don't speak Japanese, so I don't really know what the words are. But I found in the Xenoblade wiki that somebody uploaded, the whole entire thing in English. So it kind of sucks that I have to go into, iTunes and kind of change all the song titles to English, but that's okay. I don't really mind. So Xenoblade original soundtrack, and then there also is a scratch kind of over here, but that's not really a big deal. And then on the side, sorry, I'm not good at this, Xenoblade original soundtrack. So you see it's fairly thick. That's because there are 91 tracks in this thing, which is pretty awesome. And I was just taking a look at the track list online, and it doesn't look like a lot of them are like just a few seconds long. It looks like a lot of them are like full-fledged songs that go from like 2.5 to like 4 or 5 minutes or so. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited about that because sometimes some soundtracks you'll have like little filler songs, which are nice, but of course I always like the ones that are actually full songs. So yeah, 91 tracks in this thing. That's why it's so thick. There's actually 4 discs that comes with it. So I'll just sort of go ahead and pop it open. Sorry. So disc 1, again, this is backwards to me, so I apologize. Disc 1 is over here with Shulk on the cover, or on the disc art. Then Fiora over here. And then what fell out was just a little soundtrack insert. Again, it's got Mechanis and the Monado on the cover. And just, again, shows the track list in Japanese. And then it gives a little, I assume, a little bio of all of the composers of this soundtrack. So there's, and I apologize if I butcher these names because I probably will. So there's Yoko Shimomura, Ace Plus, which I guess is a trio, I believe, Manami Kiyota, and Yasunori Mitsuda. Yeah, a lot of them. So the 4 of those people, not all of them worked on all the songs. So Shinomura worked on 11. Ace Plus was 29 songs. Kyoto was 50 songs, and Mitsuda was just 1 song. And it says the album was released through Dog Ear Records on June 23rd, 2010. So again, Xenoblade Chronicles is a fairly old game. It didn't come to the North America until 2012. And I just picked up the 3DS version, when it came out in April, but I just never got around to playing it until now. April of 2015, I should mention. So I didn't get around to playing that until now. So anyway, so that's that page. And then there's also a song called Beyond the Sky, and that has English lyrics. I'm not entirely sure why that one has lyrics. Again, I haven't listened to this whole thing yet. I've heard little bits and pieces like online and throughout the game, of course. So yeah. And then it just sort of gives some credits on this page as well. Yeah, it's kind of hard to read, but that's there. So that's very cool. And then on the back, just Xenoblade original soundtrack with a cool picture of the Monado. So very cool. So even though I can't read most of that, I do like to have it because it's just awesome. So I'll show you guys the other parts of the soundtrack and the packaging here. So you've got disc 3, which is Ryan on the artwork, and then disc 4, which has Charla. I don't know if I mentioned this on the other one, but behind Charla's disc is a cool picture of the party in Guar Plain. I assume it looks like Guar Plain anyway. So there's Ryan, Fiora, Shulk. Who else is that? Looks like Charla. Oh, everybody. Charla, Melia, Dunban, and Ricky. So that's cool. So there's that. I don't think there was another piece of artwork. Let me take a look. Sorry, pardon me. I am not an unboxer. Well, aren't we all unboxers? But I'm clearly not the best unboxer. Okay, nothing there. Okay, and then behind Shulk, there's just another little piece of artwork with the Bionis and the Mechanis, which looks very cool, which is very epic. Anytime you sort of see those two titans fighting together, it just looks really cool. So, so yeah, that's the entire packaging of the artwork. Sorry, of the soundtrack. Again, I have not fully listened to it yet, you know, besides what I've listened to in the game and sort of little pieces online. Sorry, just trying to get this whole thing back together again. So I just imported the first song into my computer, the first disc, I should say. So it's all in Japanese, so like I said, I have to go in. I mean, I don't have to change it, but I would like to know what I'm listening to, so I'll have to go in sometime and just sort of manually do that. The first time I put it in, there were several options of what I could pick, and I picked the first one because I figured, well, it just seems like the first one, so it's the best one or whatever. But there were some other options, so I might do that for the other discs. But anyway, so the reason why I love Xenoblade Chronicles so much is that there's a strong sense of character development. You know, if we take a look at Shulk, he's sort of shy and timid at the very beginning, spends most of his time in the weapons lab researching the Monado and things like that. And then towards the end of the game, he becomes a fully fleshed out character who, you know, has learned who he is and just sort of grows as a person and just changes a lot throughout the journey. Maybe not so much as, you know, some people would say. I don't know what I'm talking about. But he did change, you know, quite a bit throughout the story and essentially became stronger because of what, you know, the journey held. And then, of course, Ryan, you know, at the very beginning of the game, he's sort of a clumsy guy. You know, he grabs the Monado in the weapons lab and it sort of starts freaking out on him, and he's very clumsy. In the High Entia tomb, he pushes the button when the floor disappears. So sort of a clumsy character, and one that I think a lot of people didn't really seem as smart. He was more brawn than brains. But towards the end of the game, he, you know, really started to be a little bit more mature and sort of grew in that way as well. So those are just a couple of examples of character development throughout Xenoblade. And then, of course, the story. I just think it was a really fantastic story. The whole concept of the two titans fighting, and then they're sort of locked in combat for thousands and thousands, maybe even millions of years. And all of these, different places, Colony 9, Colony 6, Satoral Marsh, um, what's another place? Valak Mountain. All these different types of places are just on the Bionis. And then, of course, in the Mechonis, there's, oh gosh, I can't remember the names. Agnaratha? I can't remember if that's how you pronounce it or not, but there's tons and tons of different places on both of these Titans that just people live. And that just seems like a really cool concept. And then, spoilers in case anybody ever hasn't really, played this game yet, but when the Mechonis sort of starts moving around, that was just an incredible sight to see. Just the sheer mass of just this thing just moving around and attacking the Bionis was just incredible to see. It was a huge, amazing set piece, and that's another thing this game has that I just love, is that everything is so huge. You can see for miles and miles and miles, and once you get up to the top of Prison Island, you can actually see. You can sort of look down below and see where you entered Prison Island, and it's just so far down. You're like, wow, we came all the way up here. And when you sort of take a step back and just think about that, it's like, wow, this really is a fantastical long journey. So just a lot of spots in this game just had my jaw on the ground. Just a fantastic story, fantastic characters. You really cared about every single character. So like Gatto, Charlotte talked about him so much during, the very first part of the game and, midway through. And then, we only saw little snippets of him in Shulk's visions. But, we really cared about him. We wanted Charlotte and him to, come together. Right now for the beat. No, I'm just kidding. They want them to come together. You wanted them to come together and, have a life together. And, when you do meet him finally, it's only for a short time. And when, spoiler again, when he's suddenly taken away, it really tears at your heartstrings and pulls at your heartstrings. So just the writing throughout this whole entire game makes you care about all these little different characters that, other games just wouldn't maybe even pay that much attention to. And again, like I said, they didn't really pay that much attention to Gatto, but because of the writing and the story, you really feel for him and Charla as well. And not only were there some serious, things going on as well, with the whole thing of should there be a god or should there be gods that control our lives, which is a huge sort of talking point all on its own. But you had Ricky there for, comic relief, which is really kind of cool. So there was a good amount of humor in this game as well. Another great thing that I loved was a lot of the plot twists that occurred. And I think probably the biggest one, again, spoiler, I'm going to hold up my hand until I'm done talking about it, because this, I think, is a pretty big one. So when you see my hand go down, I'm done talking about a spoiler. Okay? Cool. So the biggest plot twist that I saw was you find out that Dixon is actually working for Zanza, who's the main antagonist of this story. And when he shot Shulk in the back, I was like, what? He's supposed to be like, Shulk's adopted father, or Shulk is his adopted son. Like, that was just mind-blowing to me. I just did not expect that at all. And it was just something like when I played that, it was like 2:30 in the morning and I had to go to bed, and I was like, I can't stop there, I have to keep playing. So it was just a really great twist, and I just absolutely loved it. Hands going down, spoiler done. Welcome back. So it's just everything about this game was, I want to say perfect, but some of it kind of pissed me off in some spots. Like one little gripe I had was when you had the side quests going on, and so other open world games, you can select the quest to be active and then it will show you, a waypoint of how to get to that spot where that quest is. This game didn't do that. It sort of had a little blurb about, go to Satoral Marsh by the glowing obelisk. I think I said that word right. And find these 5 collectibles. And it's like, okay, yeah, it gives you, you know, an idea of where to look. But sometimes it's like, okay, where's the Toro Marsh again? How do I get there? Where's this place at? And of course, you know, there's landmarks that you can pick and fast travel with, which is really nice and extremely helpful for this type of game. But I think it would have been a little bit better if there were some actual waypoints with that. I think I just would have enjoyed it more. Not to say that it really hindered my experience with this whole entire thing, but just a little tiny gripe I had. And that's probably the biggest one that I have. And I did get frustrated in some spots just because I was not as powerful and I was getting frustrated. But like I said, I went back and did some grinding a little bit and made some more gems and just changed my equipment up a little bit and got a little stronger. So it was cool because it sort of, you know, gives you an opportunity to go back and sort of reevaluate and re-strategize what your current strategy is, and allows you to make some changes and then go forward and try to do it again, which I thought was fantastic. Because I'm still fairly new to RPGs, so I just never really played them when I was younger. But now I'm older, I'm really enjoying them a lot, and this is probably the one of the biggest, well, probably the biggest RPG that I've played, and I gotta say I'm not disappointed. I was not disappointed in the slightest. So yeah, I know I'm sort of talking more about the game and my experience with it as opposed to the soundtrack itself, but again, I haven't really listened to it yet. But it was on Amazon for like $40, which kind of seems like a lot, but considering that you get 91 songs, they're all sort of like full-fledged songs, I don't think that's really a big deal. So Xenoblade Chronicles, the official soundtrack. I'm extremely excited to crack this open. Well, it's already been cracked open, but start listening to it, and I'm very, very excited. And just the music in this game too is fantastic. You know, it sets up a scene, or it sets the scene rather, and sets the atmosphere for every environment and location that you go to. And I probably my favorite one as of the moment is the music in Fallen Arm. So it's after, again, sort of spoilers, I think after you fight Egil, I think that's when it is, in the central factory on Mechanis, and the factory, you know, blows up, and everybody's sort of dispersed from each other, like the group gets separated, and just the music is just so solemn, and just makes you have this really, just kind of feeling that things are bad, but there's also some beauty in that too, and that, you know, you can climb out of this and get better, and you can return and be stronger than you were before. I don't know, there's just something about that music that just really, really gets to me and really speaks to me. I don't know what it is. So every sort of music sets the tone for whatever location that you're in, and the battle music is just fantastic as well. The final fight with Zanza, my God, my heart was pumping so hard with just the epic music and just the fighting and just everything like that. So Xenoblade Chronicles, I cannot say enough good things about this game. Everybody already knows this because this game is several years old already. But I'm glad I finally got to experience it for myself, and I cannot wait to experience it once again with the full-fledged official soundtrack of Xenoblade Chronicles. So I'm very excited. I'm definitely going to be listening to this a lot, especially when I go to school, because the drive to school is like 40 minutes or so. So this will definitely make the drives a little bit more easy and a little bit more manageable, and definitely more enjoyable. So anyway, thank you guys. I might do another video on the soundtrack, just sort of highlighting my favorite tracks or something like that. I don't entirely know, but definitely sort of give my impressions further. I would like to do that anyway, so that'll be cool. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles, I still have yet to play Xenoblade Chronicles X. I had it for a while, and then I just never got around to playing it because I was just overwhelmed with a lot of stuff, and I just never got around to playing it. So I definitely want to play that still. I don't know when that's exactly going to happen, but Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is coming out for the Switch, hopefully sometime this year. So I may or may not play another RPG until then, because These are these are massive games and they take forever, even though I love them to bits. So that might be the next RPG that I play. I think I'm going to kind of tone it down a little bit, play some smaller games for now. But definitely excited for that. But again, if you haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles, do yourself a favor. If you are a video game fan or an RPG fan, just do it. You will not be disappointed. And again, if you want the soundtrack, check it out. It's not on iTunes. I don't know if it's on Google Play or anything. I got this on Amazon for about $40. So again, not too bad, especially considering all the tracks that you get. So again, Xenoblade Chronicles, fantastic game, and I'm very excited for the soundtrack. So I'm going to shut up. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care.